Good morning students. In today's session we are going to see equipotential surface, dipole moment, polarization and potential gradient. Equipotential surface, it means that in any surface over which the potential is constant, it is known as equipotential surface. For example, you consider a coaxial cable. It is going to be your R1 radius and this is going to be your R2. The potential at R1 is going to be V1 and the potential at R2 is going to be V2. Equipotential surface means this particular path is known as your equipotential surface. It is the surface over which the potential is going to be constant. Throughout that surface the potential is going to be constant. Now otherwise we can say the potential difference between any 2 points on the equipotential surface is going to be 0. As we discussed in the previous one, the path R1 and this is going to be my path R2. The potential at R1 is going to be V1 and the potential at R2 is going to be V2. The difference in potential, the potential difference between the 2 points is going to be 0 in case of your equipotential surface. And also the equipotential line is a line along which the electric potential is going to be constant. And equipotential surface, it is a three-dimensional version of your equipotential line and hence always your equipotential lines will be perpendicular to your electric field line. A surface with a constant electric potential is called as your equipotential surface. These are all some of the different ways of expressing the equipotential surface. Now equipotential point, you can see here the charge, positive charge. It is going to be the field outward exerting. So if the point in an electric field all at the same electric potential, suppose here you are considering, so if the point in the electric field is going to exhibit the same electric potential, then that point is called as a equipotential point. Here you can see a coaxial cable with the radius R1, R2, R3 and R4. The potential available at R1 is going to be V1. Potential available at R2 is going to be V2. R3 it is V3 and at R4 it is going to be V4. The distance between R1 and R2 is going to frame an equipotential surface. Equipotential point means when a charge is available, it exhibits a field. In that electric field, when you assume 2 point, if the potential at the 2 point is going to be similar, then that is called as your equipotential point. When these points are connected by a line or a curve, it is known as equipotential line. For example, you consider here we are going to assume the point. Here I am going to assume another point. When I measure the potential between these two lines, if the potential is going to same, then that is called as your equipotential point. And at this point, if it is going to same, we'll call it as a equipotential point. Suppose here it is going to be same, then we'll call that one as a equipotential point. Now joining all this equipotential point is known as equipotential line. When you are joining all the equipotential point by a line or a curve, then it is known as equipotential line. Further, if these points are further distributed throughout the space or a volume, it is known as a equipotential volume. So if this is just a line we are expressing. Suppose if the same point is going to be distributed throughout a space or a volume, then it is called as your equipotential volume. What is the work done in an equipotential surface? The work done in moving a charge between 2 points is going to be 0. Why? Because when you assume this is going to be point 1 and one more surface I am having where it is going to exhibit V2. This curve is going to exhibit V2 and this curve is going to exhibit V1. It is going to be the equipotential surface. The potential between the 2 points is calculated and identified that in a equipotential surface the net voltage will be equal to 0. At that moment, there is no need of any work to be done when your field is 0. Therefore, the work done in moving a charge between 2 points in an equipotential surface is going to be 0. Therefore, if you wanted to move a point from point A to point B in an equipotential surface, then the work done in moving a charge is given as from A to B we need to move it. We can write it as W is equal to Q is the charge. From A to B we want to move, so VA minus VB, where the total work done will be equal to 0. Properties of equipotential surface. So in a property of equipotential surface, it is going to exhibit a your electric field will be perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Your two equipotential point or the surface will never interact with each intersect. For a point charge, the equipotential surface are concentric in spherical shell. For a uniform electric field, the equipotential surface are planes normal to your x-axis. The direction of the equipotential surface is from high potential to lower potential. This one from the concept of the current. Always the current flows from higher potential to lower potential. Therefore, the direction of the equipotential surface is always from your higher potential to lower potential. Some more properties, two more properties are going to be there. In case of an isolated point charge, the equipotential surface is going to be a sphere. In a uniform electric field, any plane normal to the field direction is an equipotential surface. Therefore, we can write E is equal to minus dV divided by dr. Law of conservation of energy. So, the law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. This is the law of conservation of energy. So, all forms of energy follow the law of conservation of energy. Next one, we can see in an isolated system of universe, if there is a loss of energy in some part of it, then there must be a gain equal amount of energy in some other part of the universe. As a principle, there is a known example. This example is there is no known example for the violation of principle of conservation of energy. The amount of energy in the system is determined as UT is equal to UI plus W plus Q, where UT is going to be the total energy of the system, UI is the initial energy of the system, Q is going to be the heat added or removed from the system, W work done. The change in internal energy of the system is determined using the equation delta U is equal to W plus Q. Next, potential gradient. Potential gradient means you have to identify between the two concepts. Here the capacitance concept will also come into a picture. We have to keep two things in mind. One is C is equal to Q divided by V, and the other equation C is equal to epsilon into A divided by D. These two equations we have to keep in our mind to explain the concept of this potential gradient. Suppose if we are increasing, we know the capacitor is nothing but it is a two parallel plate separated by a dielectric medium epsilon. If we are increasing the, suppose if we are decreasing the distance between the two plate, then the value of the capacitance is going to increase. When the value of the capacitance is going to increase, then the voltage will get dropped. Why? Because as the distance between these two plates is going to decrease, it merely forms a short circuit. So under short circuit path, the potential V will be equal to 0. When the potential E is equal to 0, there won't be any electric field intensity exerted. So as you decrease the value of this, as the distance between the two plates is going to be decreased, the stress over the field is going to get increased. Potential gradient is nothing but the rate of change of electric potential with respect to the displacement. It is nothing but the rate of change of electric potential. C is equal to Q divided by V. V is nothing but your electric potential. Also C is equal to epsilon into A divided by D. If the value of your D is going to get reduced or increased, here if the value of D is reduced, then the value of capacitance will get increased. When the value of capacitance is increased, it is going to reduce the electric potential. On vice versa, if the value of if the distance between the two plate is going to increase, then the value of capacitance will get decreased. When the value of capacitance is decreased, the electric potential is going to increase. Therefore, the term potential gradient is nothing but the rate of change of electric potential with respect to the displacement. We can call that one as a dielectric stress. So in this dielectric stress or voltage stress, when it is going to increase or decrease, when the distance between the two plates is going to decrease, then the voltage stress on the device is going to increase. Therefore, the potential gradient unit is going to be volt per meter. Typically, it could be V by M. The formula to identify, if you check the graph over here, when you draw a tangent between if you draw the tangent in the graph, this is going to be my point A, point B. The difference between this is going to reflect a potential gradient, and the gradient of the potential is represented as delta V. We know that E is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon R, and it could be equal to minus integral E dot dl. V is equal to minus integration E dot dl is going to be your Maxwell's second equation in electrostatics, whereas the Maxwell's first equation in electrostatics is going to be divergence dot D is equal to rho V, which we have done in our first module. The rate of change of potential with respect to distance is called as your potential gradient. Now, dielectrics, polarization and electric dipole moment. The amount of charge stored in the capacitor is equal to the product of voltage and capacity. Here, to explain all the three terms, we are going to use only one equation. C is equal to Q divided by V, or we can say Q is equal to C into V, where V is nothing but your electric potential, C is going to be your capacity or capacitor capacity. And also we can write C is equal to epsilon into A divided by D. Epsilon is nothing but your dielectrics. Either you can increase the value of capacitance by increasing the dielectric medium or by decreasing the distance. In any of the way you can do it. So this is explained as a point over here. You can see here the voltage can be increased, but the electric breakdown will occur if the electric field intensity in the capacitor is going to be too large. C is equal to Q divided by V. If the capacity is going to be very large, then the voltage is very less. It means that there is a possibility of your electrical breakdown inside the capacitor when the capacitance value is becoming too large. One method of increasing the capacity, that is voltage capacity, means you can insert the conductors or the insulating material that reduces the voltage because of its effect on the electric field. The other way is such material is called as a dielectric material, like how we have C is equal to epsilon A divided by D. C is equal to Q by V. V is equal to Q divided by C. So when you increase the dielectric medium, the value of the capacitance is going to increase. When the capacitance value is increased, the voltage value will be decreased. So upon that, you can use this dielectric medium variation to vary the capacity or to vary the voltage. With this separation referred to as a polarization. So when you are moving the plate to and fro, the distance is going to reduce, which in turn there occurs a polarization of the molecules. The molecules acquire an electron, and this is known as your dipole moment. A cluster of charges with an electric dipole moment is often called as a electric dipole. Dipole moment. A dipole moment arises in any system in which there is a separation of charges. They can therefore rise in an ionic bond as well as in covalent bond. Dipole moment is the difference in electronegativity between two chemically bonded atoms. A bond dipole moment is a measure of polarity of chemical bond between two atoms in a molecule. It involves the concept of your electric dipole, which is a measure of separation between your positive and negative charges in a system. This dipole moment is going to be a vector quantity which is going to have both magnitude as well as the direction. So the formula to identify the dipole moment is going to be charge q into distance of separation, which we will get it as d is equal to mu into delta. Mu is equal to delta into d. Mu is the bond dipole moment, delta is your magnitude of the particle charges, delta plus and delta minus, and d is the distance between the separation of these two charges. This is going to be your dipole moment. The bond dipole moment mu is also a vector quantity whose direction is parallel to the bond axis. Therefore, when two atoms of varying electronegative interact, the electrons tends to move from their initial position and tries to come closer to the more electronegative atom. This movement of electrons can be represented via the bond dipole moment. So in the next class, we'll see what is the relationship between the potential and the electric field intensity. Thank you, students.